We're going to go ahead and call this evening's Board of Directors meeting to order. Please rise for the flag salute. Tacoma Public Schools acknowledges that we're on the traditional, ancestral, and historical lands of the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the Puyallup Tribe. This acknowledgement serves as a first step in honoring our nearest tribal neighbors and partners who have inhabited this region since time immemorial, and to whom we give thanks for allowing us passage to their lands. We shall intentionally create inclusive and respectful partnerships that honor indigenous cultures, histories, identities, and socio-political realities. General Counsel Benroe, will you please call the roll?
President Keating?
Here.
President Strozier?
Both of us are here.
That really came out.
That was a test. President Strozier?
Here.
Director Keating?
Here.
Director Bombright?
Here.
Director Leon?
Here.
We have a quorum. We also have Amelia Constantine here and Esther Garcia. Welcome.
Solid. Agenda item number 5, adoption of the agenda.
I move to adopt the agenda.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, concerns about it? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passes. Agenda item number 6, recognition of staff, students, and community. 6.1, state holidays and civic observances.
Yes, we have one state holiday this month and one civic observance. So starting with Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. May is Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. During May, Washington recognizes and honors the contributions, achievements, and rich cultural heritage of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. We also celebrate and promote understanding, appreciation, and awareness of the diverse experiences of those within these communities. Our next observance is Memorial Day. So Memorial Day is a state holiday, which means, we'll tell you what it is, and then we'll tell you what it means. So Memorial Day is observed to honor and remember those who've died while serving in the U.S. military. It's a day to express gratitude for the sacrifices made by service members to protect our freedoms and our way of life. So because Memorial Day is observed the last Monday in May, this year that falls on Monday, May 26th. So as a state holiday, it means all campuses will be closed on Monday, May 26th, and district offices will be closed as well. It's not listed here in the agenda, but just for families listening at home and any students that we might have in observance, Friday, May 23rd is a no school day as well. So for students, there'll be no school Friday, May 23rd, and then also no school on Monday, May 26th. And that Friday that's a snow day that was a makeup snow day. So we've got a 4-day weekend for our students.
Solid. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Agenda item number 7, superintendent's report. 7.1 is the legislative wrap-up.
Well, it has been a session. I want to give you a few highlights and then maybe some challenging topics. So first and foremost, I want to thank the legislators. I know it's a difficult task. There are many conflicting interests at the state legislative level. Education is not the only one, even though it is the paramount duty. This year we had 3 big asks. Across the state, Educators Unified, they asked for support in MSOC, they asked for support in special education funding, and they asked for some support in transportation. We saw some support in MSOC. We saw some support in special education, and unfortunately, we didn't see any support in transportation. For some context, the needs in special education and MSOC across the state were billions of dollars, and the reply was a few $100 million. And so it was not nearly enough to meet the needs. And that leaves us in a very vulnerable place as a district. We're facing, as a result of that, a $30 million deficit. We've talked to you about that, and that shortfall is due to several reasons. It's the rising costs that we see all across our lives, such as fuel and utilities, but other costs like insurance, meals, salaries. We've talked about state funding, unfortunately, being flat. The state pays for about 65% of what we need. This is putting us, unfortunately, as we've shared with you, close, very dangerously close to binding conditions. The legislators did provide us some one-time costs that are extreme benefit from us. They fulfilled their promise to support us in the Maritime Skill Center, and we are extremely grateful. They provide us $5 million from the capital budget, $4 million for the actual facility, and then $1 million to the port to do some cleanup. They also helped provide some support to the LeMay campus for our new robotics center, and so that is a huge win in that space. And then unfortunately, we're still unpacking some of the unintentional consequences. We learned of a new tax that is being applied. So as we continue to learn the budget, we're unfolding new and more takeaways as well. So this is all to say that we have a rough go ahead of us coming in this spring in the legislative. The final budget has not been signed completely by the governor, so there's more work to be done. So we will continue to monitor that space. I'd like to transition before I complete my comments to some more positive to put the students as a little bit of a buffer before I say some positive comments, if that's also appropriate, Mr. President.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
It's all yours.
Okay. Hi, I'm Amelia. I'm supporting soda. And there's not much going around at our school right now since we're kind of like wrapping up towards the end of the year, but from our co-director, he's very much enthusiastic about our musical Legally Blonde coming up, and he's asking that everyone comes and supports it. It's through May 16th through 18th, and it's at Urban Grace, so like right down the street, and it's gonna be really awesome, so I'm excited to watch that. And then we have our ASB elections. We had our videos played yesterday, and then the results come out Saturday morning, hopefully. And then we also have our voting for next year's shows, because we decided to do it for students come up with the options this year, which I think was really good to get like student voice for like what we want next year. And so the spring touring musical has been decided because that was won by a landslide, but our fall play hasn't been decided because it's a 3-way tie. So we're coming between that, and then we have prom coming up May 30th. The theme is Masquerade. It's in Browns Point. I don't remember the exact venue, but everyone's really, really excited about it. So I'm hoping to see what that looks like. And then we have Day in the Park May 28th, which is for our school. It's our mentor groups can come together and have kind of like a school-wide like barbecue with games at Thea Foss. So we're always excited for that. And that's about all going on right now.
All right, it's my turn. I'm Esther, and I'm here representing Lincoln. So I think I would say that this month is going to be one of our busiest months, especially with ASB. We are planning our multicultural assembly to take place May 30th. And then the day after that, that Saturday, we're going to have our Aid Fest. So it's basically like a celebration, a celebration after the multicultural assembly. And instead of it just being like open to students and staff, it'll be open to the community. So it'll take place at Lincoln, and all of the like cultural clubs will be performing there, and it'll be like a little club fair. And we will hopefully have like vendors and other community members come. So that's really exciting. And then prom is this Saturday. So a lot of the time in ASB has been spent preparing for that. It'll take place at the LeMay Car Museum, and the theme is Fast and Furious, so it's kind of fun. And then we also, we were also having our elections this week, and our videos are going to be played next week Monday, and then the voting will take place during that week. And then we've been having a lot of AP testing going on, and this, I think it was Tuesday, we had an event at our school. One of our teachers, Miss Walker, hosted like an event with Nick of Time, and basically it's an event where it brings awareness to cardiac arrest, especially in youth, and it was basically like a day where they were doing like heart screenings, and they bring down like a lot of professionals that are part of the foundation down to Lincoln, and I actually got my everything's okay with my heart. I got it checked and everything's fine. But I think it was a really valuable experience for me, because for me and also like everyone else that I talked to, because it was very eye-opening, and we also were able to get some experience with CPR training. We didn't get certified or anything, but we were able to like practice on like a little dummy, and now I feel like a lot safer, and I feel like I have more of a perspective and like more like gratitude, and yeah, I think that's all from Lincoln.
Thank you. Thank both of y'all.
Yeah, so it is an exciting time. It's spring, right? Prom, dances, lots of celebration. I just want to remind all of our kids, be safe, make good decisions, right? Remember my comments last time. Keep your head on a swivel, be aware. Don't be taking anything you're not supposed to be taking, right? Tell your parents where you're supposed to be, all those good things. I want to remind folks that it is championship time, so get out there and root on our teams. It is an exciting time, lots of good events. There's still some plays out there in that space. And then I want to just give a special shout out. This week is Teachers and Nurses Week. Nurses Week is a national, Teachers Week is a national. Nurses Week is not just to our school nurses, but for all nurses. But a big special shout out to our teachers and nurses. I have such tremendous gratitude. Our teachers are our largest labor group, and they just do such an amazing job. Lisa and I got a chance to go out to Travis and spend some time in one of our best teacher, Michelle's classroom. She had a student teacher, Miss Karina, with us.
Yeah, one of our many best teachers.
One of our many best, and in kindergarten class, I got to see a master teacher, Miss Nolan, teach kindergartners how to read.
And I got to see him read about, guess what? Wrestling.
Yeah, and I would say that
Weird. It's really weird.
yeah, it definitely wasn't a master class put on me. I lost my voice, but it was just the Travis staff was doing an amazing job. We got to walk around class to see them, and just it was so good. And once again, just so many great teachers, and it just reminded me of how grateful I am for all the work that they put in. Ironically, I was in a school-based health clinic conversation today, and people from outside of our district were so complimentary of Shelley Hobbs, our nurses, and just reminded me of how grateful I am for the professionalism of our nurses across the district, how they take care of the diverse needs of staff and community. the diverse needs of our children. We got an amazing educational update of the amount of services they provide at a CAB meeting last week across the district. In partnership with community partners like Melotech Care and CMAR, they come together to serve our kids. And so on behalf of not only myself, but entire cabinet and the entire CAB, and on behalf of you folks at the school board, I don't mind speaking to you. I just want to say to all of our teachers, you are seen, and our nurses, you are valued, and you are deeply, and our teachers and nurses, deeply appreciated. And I know that we're all, and if you can hear me, we're so appreciative of you, and we are so proud to serve alongside of you. And I hope you just take this one moment to know that we are grateful for you. So on that note, thank you.
Appreciate it. Agenda, what's up? Go ahead.
Just like to also just thank the teachers again, and the nurses, of course, but I've got a graduating senior this year, and he's told me multiple times throughout his whole time in all of our schools how much he's appreciated. The lessons, the teaching, the guidance from teachers, coaches, and the care he's gotten from the nurses. So thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Any other comments? Okay. Moving forward to agenda item number 8, staff report to the board. I'm seeing none. We'll move on to agenda item number 9, which is members of the public wishing to address the board. We got a few?
Yes, we have 3 written comments uploaded, and we have 6 verbal comments.
Perfect. All right, public comment guidelines. School board members encourage public participation. Your civil input is appreciated. Board members will not respond to your comments during the meeting. The superintendent or designee will follow up with you after the meeting if action is needed. Instead of speaking at a meeting, you may send an email to the board at board@tacoma.k12.wa.us. Please contact the board office in advance of the meeting for disability accommodations. Under Board Policy 1430, public comment, the board president may terminate an individual's comment when the allotted time has passed and may interrupt a speaker to require the same standard of civility that the board imposes on itself. Examples of uncivil comments include comments that are libelous or slanderous under a legal standard, are an unwarranted invasion of privacy, are obscene or indecent pursuant to the Federal Communications Act or any rule or regulation of the Federal Communications Commission, violate school district policy or procedure related to harassment, intimidation, bullying, or discrimination, incite an unlawful act on school premises, or violate a lawful school regulation, or create a material and substantial disruption of the orderly operation of the board meeting. The board as a whole has the final decision in determining the appropriateness of all such rulings and can maintain order by removing those who are disruptive. However, the board recognizes the distinction between uncivil discourse, which it will not tolerate, and comments about the board, district, and/or staff that are negative yet still civil in nature. The board will exercise its authority to maintain order in a content-neutral manner. Option number 1, verbal comment. The general counsel will call your name when it's your turn to address the school board. Please speak into the microphone. You'll have up to 3 minutes to share your comments, or if there are a large number of speakers, time may be limited at the president's discretion. Option number 2, written comment. The following members of the public have submitted written public comment: Catherine Goodsell, Rick and Karen DiNicola, and there is an anonymous submission as well. We can go ahead with the public comments, General Counsel.
All right, our first speaker this evening is Dr. Melissa Commodore, followed by Milo Swayze.
And just a reminder, when you come to the mic, please just state your name for the record. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Dr. Melissa Commodore. Good evening to everyone. I'm just pretty much here, and I make copies. I have a company I recently started called Internal Leadership Development Institute, and in that company we offer programs. So it's a program called Hidden Queens, and it's a whole transformational leadership development program. It's for specifically BIPOC girls, and it helps heal them from the inside out. So any trauma that they have been through, we give them the tools to overcome it and hopefully prevent any trauma in the future. It deals with their identity, knowing who they are. It helps with their mental stability. It helps them to be what we are learning now as older adults, right? And it gives them that cheat sheet in life. and it teaches them that they are valuable, that they are the prize. And when the schools might have programs there that try to help the students and the teachers try to help the students, but I think of Hidden Queens as a safety net. And we catch those students that you may miss, like those students that are quiet in class, those students that they're A students, they're D students, they're B students, right? We have a variety of young ladies that we accept. I've had great progress with this program. I would like to offer the program to the Tacoma Public School District. I am from here. I was raised in the Tacoma Public School District. I experienced trauma and I left, but God brought me back to help build it up again. And so I'm very thankful for that. And because I went on my own healing journey, I can be here now and help out the public schools, the young ladies in these schools that may experience these problems. I noticed from experience that a lot of kids don't speak up. Some kids may be intimidated by adults. And when that happens, we need to be able to relate to them. Some kids do not see themselves in some of our adults and some of our teachers and some of our leadership and administration. But when you have someone that comes in like me or someone else of color, a woman who said, I've been to hell, conquered it, came out of it, got a crown on my head, they call me doctor now. They can say, you know what, I can make it. They don't give up. Maybe they don't go and commit suicide or kill someone. So I'm hoping to be able to offer my services. I have spoken with the director of programs. So I just wanted to introduce myself before I come in your community and start doing work so you know who I am. Thank you for the opportunity to share. And I don't know, do you need, what vision? Okay, I made copies.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Our next speaker this evening is Milo Swayze, followed by Ari Duval.
Hi, I'm Milo Swayze. I'm here with Elements of Education, and I just want to talk about my experience with it and how it's helped me grow. I've worked with Elements of Education and through their Beyond the Bell program for about a year, and while I was in this program, it gave me skills that, it gave me skills I will forever need going forward in my life and furthering my career. It taught me how to communicate effectively with others and how to be a leader, and most importantly, my patience with others. This program helped me grow as a leader and showed me how courageous I can be. From this experience, it gave me the courage and confidence to show my leadership skills and run for ASB at my school. I love this program because it gave me an opportunity to give back to my community and give me an opportunity to give back to my community while also changing the kids' lives. I want to thank this program for how far it has helped me grow as a person. Thank you to Elements of Education and Beyond the Bell, and thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Good job.
Our next speaker is Ari Duval, followed by Leilani Fordo.
My name is Ari Duval, and I am also here with Elements of Education through the Beyond the Bell program. I'm sure most of you already know what Beyond the Bell is, but it's just an after-school program. And through the program, it's given me skills that I need in my adult life, such as professionalism, communication, and patience. And I've learned a lot more about working in a professional environment through the experience. But I think my favorite part about working with it is knowing that I've made an impact in the children's lives. Just giving them a safe, comfortable space to express themselves in a place of acceptance. It's given me a lot of confidence. I actually ran for SOTA ASB this past week for treasurer, and I think I never would have done that before if I didn't have the opportunity. And I've just liked it because it's given me a lot of opportunities that I wouldn't otherwise been able to have And while it is a hard job, it's very much rewarding, and that's the best thing that I like about it. Yeah. Okay.
Good job.
Great job, Ari.
Our next speaker is Leilani Fordham, followed by Liz Wall.
Hi, my name is Leilani Fordham. I'm a junior at SOTA, and I am also here with Beyond the Bell Elements of Education. I have worked in partnership with Beyond the Bell for about a year now. I started it last year sometime in the spring. I started doing it. I taught a art club at Meeker Middle School. This program has pushed me to try new things and step out of my comfort zone. I've noticed a significant change or a significant amount of growth in my confidence regarding trying new things and also doing something like this. I never would have done something like this, I don't think, if I wouldn't have had that experience with Beyond the Bell and pushing me to do new things. This program gave me the opportunity to give back to my community and do something that hopefully left an impact on the kids that I worked with at Meeker Middle School. I thank Beyond the Bell for giving this opportunity to me and my peers and my friends and other people at different schools that have done this. And I thank you all for your time and for listening to me.
Good job, thank you.
Our next speaker is Liz Wall, followed by Connor Griswold.
Hello, my name is Liz Wally, and this is my 19th year as a paraeducator with Tacoma Public Schools. Many times over the years, I have watched the district attempt to solve its budget mishandling on the backs of its lowest paid workers. Yesterday's displacement announcement of all building paras and other positions was no exception. This has been described as a bloodbath. It left me wondering if the people who made these decisions have any idea what a building para job entails. So here you go. I'm going to enlighten you. I'm going to walk you through the day in the life of a building para. The building para arrives at school just in time to get her vest and flag and run outside to keep the students and families safe while crossing the street on the way to school. She used to have more time to come in and prepare for her day before crossing, but her hours were cut a few years ago. From crossing, she runs over to get the students off the bus, escort them into school. Next, she assists our 2 preschool classrooms to make sure that the youngest students are able to get into their classrooms safely. The building para then begins her day of reading and math intervention groups, working all grade levels in the building. She also sets aside SEL times each day for the students who need a little extra boost. All of this is interrupted when her name comes over the walkie-talkie asking her to report to room whatever, where little Johnny is disrupting the entire class and needed to be escorted out for a much-needed break. The building para is providing this break not only for little Johnny, but also for the 25-plus other students whose learning is being interrupted, and for the teacher who's unable to teach during this disruption. The building para is called into situations like this several times each week. Sadly, too often, building paras go home with bruises and bite marks, etc. The building para plays a vital role in ensuring that testing is facilitated in an equitable way for our students with special needs and accommodations. This is especially important this time of year. The building para interrupts her academic duties to manage the playground 4 recesses each day, 4 recess periods. The school used to have 2 hourly employees running the playground, but budget restraints caused us to lose one of those, so now it's the duty of the building para also. She always does it with a smile and a positive attitude, rain or shine. But wait, all of these duties come to a screeching halt if a one-on-one para is out without a sub. Then the building para, this happens several times a month. In my building, the building para is asked to cover. Building paras are the members of the frontline staff who provide stability for every student in the building. Building paras are one of a handful of people in the building who can name and have a relationship with nearly, almost done, every student in the building. Building paras are heroes to the administrative certified staff who just need one extra set of hands to help with whatever situation occurs that day. Perhaps just to provide the teachers with a much-needed bathroom
I'm sorry
break.
to interrupt you. I got to keep it fair at 3 minutes per person. But please feel free to provide the rest of that copy to us.
Our next speaker is Connor Griswold, and our last speaker is Gwendolyn Lewandowski.
Hello, my name is Connor Griswold. I am here speaking as an ESP from Fawcett Elementary. Yesterday, ESPs at my school received notice that we no longer have jobs to return to. The irony is not lost on us to receive this during Staff Appreciation Week. We want jobs, not to be given enormous news and then directed to meaningless treats and goodies to soothe our anger. This morning, in an email, the superintendent attempted to set a tone quoting, "These cuts are not a reflection of our team's incredible work." Tell that to the 6 CSPs who just lost their jobs and the students who will lose bilingual support, behavioral interventions, and IEP services. Incredible work doesn't matter if you eliminate the workers. The district and the superintendent are passing blame that the state's funding formula is inadequate. If the state only covers 65% of salary costs, why did the board prioritize $14 million in construction projects and top-tier admin salaries of $2 million over frontline staff? Staff aren't being cut because they're being cut because the district chose buildings and salaries over people. The superintendent warns of binding conditions, but OSPI oversight could actually protect classrooms. The state can block cuts to special ed and ESL staff, and it seems like the board is using this as a boogeyman to push through unpopular cuts. Frankly, the state is a much more democratic process anyways. By the superintendent's omission, no details on which the future programs or which staff will be cut, only vague promises of updates next week. By omission, no mention of furloughs, pay cuts for top earners, or program audits. I resolve by asking, before cutting staff, did TPS consider a 5% pay cut for administrators earning over $150,000, furlough days for non-school staff, or an independent audit of wasteful spending? If not, cutting staff isn't a difficult decision. It is an uncreative one. It is a decision that our working class Americans is very familiar with. Thank you, and please reconsider the valuation of these workers.
Our last speaker this evening is Gwendolyn Lewandowski.
Thank you. I know Liz got to cut a little short, 19 years working for the schools. I would hope she could finish her sentence, but I'll do it for her.
3 minutes is 3 minutes.
All right, now we'll be right under. Her last sentence was, "I implore you to rethink the decision of letting every building para go. There must be another way to correct your budget failings." Boom. Now I'll move on to my comments. A lot of us paras had a really rough couple days in the schools, comforting our friends and our colleagues. So many of us paras and OPs, we grew up in Tacoma, we've graduated from Tacoma schools, we've raised our own babies in Tacoma, and we know the kids, we know the parents, we are the community that we serve. Cutting us hurts the students. And as Tacoma schools faces a wave of violence, and we're losing students, this is not the time. Our office professionals, them too. A lot of days, they're the first point of contact. They work hard, and we all go above and beyond. You're not going to balance the budget on our low wages. Half the time, we're so broke, we can barely afford to pay attention. But we show up every day. All the money you're nickeling and diming on our jobs is nothing compared to the face that you lose, taking from our kids and our communities when they need you to come through the most. Cut from the top and not from the shelf. Thank you.
All right, that concludes public comment for this evening.
Thank you. Moving to agenda item number 10, which is the consent agenda.
I move the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, concerns regarding the consent agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Moving forward to agenda item number 11, which is policy matters. There are none this evening. Agenda item number 12 is our financial report. And here comes Ross to present it.
Good evening. So, I will get us started on our financial report. Dr. Garcia talked about the legislative impacts that we are going to be seeing. There are a couple others that are still late breaking, and so we haven't got everything incorporated here. Some good, some bad. So this is where we're at with our basic education. Our conference budget ended up with an increase of 5.7, almost $5.8 million of new revenue. That's including revenues and the expenditures that come along with them. So that is beneficial. That's good news for us. However, with a $30 million deficit, the $6 million isn't going to get us too far in accomplishing a balanced budget for next year. We do have levy increases that we will be eligible for when we go out for our next levy, which will be in February of 2026. The legislature did allow districts who have the capability of going out for a levy in 2025, like in this current year, of getting a little bit of an extra kick on their levy. However, we will not be able to access those dollars because we are already locked in from our voter-approved rate of $82 million for the 2026 year. And so in order to try to capture any of those increases, we would have to forego our entire levy, and it's just a little too risky for us to consider that we won't have those resources available to us. So an unfortunate scenario in some respects, and a positive note for many districts out there who have the access to those resources, and then hopefully a positive result for us when we go out to our voters in the future, excuse me. Pardon me. Special education did see about $6.5 million of new revenue coming in. There's a multiplier that they provide that is a per student rate, and they've made some modifications to that multiplier and increased it. We also have an increase to the safety net threshold, which means that high-cost students who have specialized services for special education will have more reimbursements back to the district. That'll gain us some revenue. And then there is a cap of revenues for special education students that used to sit at 16%. We are under the 16% threshold, so while that is very beneficial for many school districts in the state, because we are under the cap, there's no additional revenue that will come to our district for that. But as our special education population continues to fluctuate over time, we won't be capped if we do achieve a ratio above 16%. So those are the high points of the legislature. In preparing for the 25-26 budget, like I said, we're facing, as Dr. Garcia indicated, we're facing a $30 million shortfall. Director Bond,
Ross, quick question.
Sure.
Just for point of clarification, so when you are putting out here $6 million is the conference budget, that's statewide?
No, that's
For
our
ours.
That's
Okay,
our component.
Okay, I wanted to make sure
Correct.
that we were clear. Okay.
Yeah,
great,
no, that's
thank you.
Tacoma's share. Our anticipated share based on the numbers
Based
that we
on the
have.
formula.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
so the final numbers aren't, the governor hasn't signed off on the budget, so,
Right.
in that space. And so we're learning daily and some of the subtleties. The budget's 1,000 pages.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so, I mean, we're learning that there are some subtleties in that. So this is what we can anticipate, but
Nothing's confirmed till the
nothing's
governor
confirmed, and
signs
we're
them.
learning that there's some subtleties where those numbers may have implications which actually cost us more in that space. So that's the challenging piece. So I think the governor has till the 17th, or
I don't know.
yeah. So we have another week or two till the final sign off has to be done.
Thank you.
So the district has been in the process of balancing the budget for about 5 months now, trying to identify where we're at financially in the current fiscal year, trying to identify where we need to be to have a balanced budget moving forward into the 25-26 year, and to set ourselves up for financial success for the long term. The board approved our guiding principles in February. Those have been at the forefront of all of our financial conversations with an attempt to try to keep as many cuts away from the classroom. However, we have made a number of cuts over the years. It's over $40 million last year, plus what we've cut the prior year. And so we're getting to the end of its services and programs at this point. And I think that from an anecdotal perspective, there are a lot of opportunities and conversations that haven't been finalized yet, and that we're not done. So I think that I understand questions and wonders that people have, and there's still more conversations to be had. Bargaining and federal impacts are also something that are a consideration for us. We're currently bargaining with two groups. One group that we were previously bargaining with closed, so we can anticipate the costs associated with those agreements. And the notification also came in this last month of 3 separate federal grants that will be eliminated. One being a Department of Education grant worth about $2.6 million, a playground grant from the EPA, and another outdoor education grant that we were notified on in the last week. So we're starting to see implications from the federal government and the Department of Education that are having an impact on us, and there are potential for other impacts that we do not even know about and we aren't even prepared to respond to just yet. I also want to acknowledge, which I will talk about a little more on the next couple of slides, but there are currently no reserves in our account. There will likely be no reserves at this point if all things were to end today. If things were to continue on, we would have no reserves to help us either balance the budget and or in case of emergencies. So resources are limited in that respect. I'm so sorry. From an administrative perspective, we have 2 distinct groups within our administrative component. We have the exempt staff, which are generally made up of managers and coordinators. And then we have other staff that are captured as part of OSPI's calculation of what is considered administrative. Right now, administrative positions represent 5.2% of all of our FTE, and we are still tracking lower than where we were year end of last year. So we've made cuts 3 consecutive years, and we are maintaining those cuts. We've also had some additional position eliminations as listed here. Some position eliminations as well as other positions that are not being filled or that we're changing out the services and the programming associated with them. Realistically, as a district, we have to stop doing everything that we've been doing in certain cases in order to start ratcheting down staff. We don't have the capability of making all of the compliance expectations and making all of the service expectations that our community has with the resources that will be allocated. Our March projection for 2025 is tracking at negative $3.5 million. So when we talk about binding conditions, which I have a couple slides on, this would put us below the ability to continue operating in a solvent position. This is where we had talked previously, and I'm not sure why that's fuzzy on the right-hand side there, but we had talked previously about our trend over this year, and we started the year with $11 million in our fund balance reserve. But with our revenues being reduced and our expenditures being above what we budgeted, we are now eating into our fund balance reserves in the current year. And this is a trend, of course, that we cannot sustain. So you'll see that we were in January $1.3 million projected. That changed to 3.7 in February. We put in place a number of mitigations over January and February. March held that, so it didn't continue to increase. And if our mitigations and attempts to right-size ourselves in this current year are successful, hopefully we will start seeing that number trend up in April and May. Again, I want to emphasize that projections and forecasts are based off of trend data. We have ESSER as part of our trending. That sort of throws things off. We're operating differently than we have in past years and trying to capture expenditures in the system sooner, and so that throws trending off. And so this is the best information that we have based on what we see in the system right now, and it fluctuates and changes each month that we look at it, and so it's just a continual review of the resources to try to understand where we're at. Some of those new mitigation strategies that we're seeing, Dr. Garcia may have mentioned them. I can't remember if you just said them now or if that was in a different meeting earlier. I'm sorry. We're freezing our purchasing cards. I called them P cards here, but purchasing cards. So limiting the way people are able to buy. It will frustrate the system. We will see that. We already are seeing that. However, we've got to get a handle on what we're buying and how and what. So that is one way that we'll be able to do that. We're limiting contracts even further than we already had been. That had been something we'd been looking at. We have a number of contracts that are currently already in play that we had let earlier in the year, and we're canceling those or reducing services in some of those. And in an attempt here in the next week to, as much as possible, continue to eliminate or freeze overtime and extra work. Then we have the other ideas that we have been actively engaging in the last several months. And we talked to you about those in previous board meetings. So just as a review, binding conditions is essentially insolvency of a district. It means that you have no resources available in your fund balance and that your revenues and expenditures are no longer in balance or in order to maintain your financial position. In that situation, we will, if we were to achieve that situation, a financial oversight committee would be put in place. That would look like representatives from OSPI, Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction, and the Educational Service District, or ESD, and they would come in and begin advising us on potential eliminations. When we talk about the way that we expect that to look, we're looking at what's been occurring in other school districts. There are currently 6 other districts that have been in binding conditions this year and are working to get themselves back into a financially solvent position, and 19 districts on a watch list. And that watch list is an anecdotal conversation. It is not a published list, and we are not on it. However, we are likely going to be on that list next year if we are not achieving binding conditions. We've had conversations with our state auditors, and that is the expectation. Just a reminder that it is not our expectation to go into binding conditions. Our intent is to avoid them at all possibilities, and what that might mean is that we stop spending so well that we achieve a greater fund balance than we anticipated. And that's going to be just part of the process as we go through this. It's not our intent to hoard money either, but this is not a perfect system. There are 200 people that have spending authority for various reasons through grants and programs and schools, and that makes it a challenging place and environment for us to track every dollar and to try to manage and monitor every dollar that's coming through. So, a consideration that has to be evaluated as we continue through this process. And I think that's what I had to share.
Any questions for Ross or any additional?
There's just one more slide. It just explains that unfortunately there are several other districts in the state that are in the space. And the reason we bring this up is to contextualize that, unfortunately, there is a problem with state funding in Washington State. And there continues to be. And it's not new to the conversation. It's not just a Tacoma problem. And so you see this binding conditions is where the other districts are, and there are 19 other districts in a watch list. And when we say Tacoma's not one of them, you can see that the tension there, we are even locally, and we're not even one of these 19 districts. So when we talk about where the legislation is and the challenges is, I know it's tough. I know it's tense. And I know it's real that people's lives are at stake here. It's not something that we take lightly. Hours and hours are being put into this. And there are no simple answers. And there's not money that is being hidden. This is difficult. It is going to be a difficult spring. We've been talking about this for more than a year. We cut last year. We told you we were going to have to cut this year. It's real. We worked with other school districts to unify, to try to get a common voice. The legislators asked. Director Keating spent hours upon hours working with legislators, her colleagues, to get a common voice. And unfortunately, the legislators did not respond. So yes, we will be bringing additional program pieces. We work with each of the collective bargaining units to do things in alignment with those bargaining agreements. And I want to be very clear, that does not mean that the collective bargaining or the other unit agrees with our decisions. I am not suggesting that. What I am suggesting is we make sure that we do however that we make the decision, we do it in alignment with that agreement. So it may not feel right, but we have made sure that we coordinate in those decisions. We will continue to fight through the spring the best we can. And as we get new information, we will look for new opportunities all throughout the spring. Your guiding principles ask us to do certain things. Make decisions based on kids. When there was opportunities to find other jobs for the adults in the system, we will do so. Those are a few of those guiding principles. Those guiding principles are online. So we will continue to do that. We will bring you another update as we go forward. And we are committed to continue to give the community and staff updates. And sometimes those updates will be, there's no new information.
Appreciate it. Any other questions?
Actually, I have a question and a comment. So I want to start with the question about, could you just talk a little bit about the differences between the capital budget and the operating budget?
Yeah.
And where that may, just how those funds are allocated and the ways they can and cannot be spent, just to help
Yeah.
clarify that.
The district actually has 6 different checkbooks, I'll call them, or funds, and they're defined by the state accounting manual and that's defined by OSPI. Within that, we have the general fund, which is where we do all of our main operating. That's where our basic education revenues go through. That's where our apportionment revenue comes into, and that's where we pay the majority of our staff for everyday educational supports and programs. Then we have a transportation vehicle fund, which is for yellow buses. We have a trust fund, which is money that we're holding in for other people for like scholarships and things like that. It's not our money. We don't get to decide how to spend it. We have ASB, which is the Associated Student Body. Those are funds that are raised for student use for athletics and other activities. And then we have our capital fund. The capital fund is funded 2 ways for this school district, either through the bonds that we have had voter approved and then sold on behalf of the district that the voters are paying back through their taxes, or a capital levy, which is technology for this district, which is $31 million a year for technology. And so capital and technology supports can only be used for the very specific purposes that are laid out in the resolution that is approved by the board that goes out to the voters and the voters vote on. So we did a $650 million bond last time. We haven't sold all those bonds yet, but those dollars that we have sold go into the capital fund. We use them to build buildings and make major improvements within buildings. They can only be used on the things that were specifically designed in the resolution. They cannot be used on our general operations. And the same is true for the capital technology levy funds.
Thank you.
Rosin, can you go back to slide 5, please?
Sure.
Let's see.
I'm not sure which one 5 was.
Keep going. Keep going. Right there.
Okay.
I'll remind that when we started this last year in this major reduction, this is where we started. And this is all part of our board reports. All of your agendas are all online. All the funding series, Roslyn did a great job of summarizing. You've been a part of funding series all throughout the year. Explains all those different budgets. Those are all archived online under each of your board agendas. But you can see where we have started. And you can see since 22, 23, we have made reductions at administration. And then you can see the next slide is we continue to make, and these 25, 26 are not a part of that chart.
That's correct.
So we started last year, made significant reductions and continue to make reductions in administration. You asked us to do that last year. You asked us, I'll remind folks, the administration did not get raises last year. We will continue to be prudent and make sure that we follow your guiding principles as we go through this process.
Point of clarification, IPD was applied because it's state law to apply it.
Thank you.
No step increases.
Correct. And or negotiated increase of any kind for the exempt administrators.
Thank you for all that. Were you done, Superintendent?
Yes.
Okay. I just also want to just add a couple pieces that I have great frustration with in terms of the amount of effort and advocacy that has gone into informing our legislators about the needs in our school districts and in our buildings. I am a part of a consistent group of board directors around the state that have put in endless amounts of hours trying to advocate on behalf of our staff and on behalf of our students. We unfortunately have a new governor that is seemingly very opposed to any new tax revenue, which, as the legislature was working through their budget reductions with, the state also has between a $12 to $15 million budget shortfall. There were cuts being made, and because of the opposition that our new governor has, it really limited what the legislature could and couldn't do. And even now, even though the legislature has ended, or the session has ended and they passed their budget, the governor is going through it line by line and has already verbalized in multiple press conferences and other outlets that it could be that he partially vetoes any new tax revenue. And so I guess I just want to share that fuller context, because the funding deficits aren't just here, and I know the superintendent said that, but it really feels like there's some in the legislature that believe education gets enough money. I've personally been told that. They get plenty of money. And regardless of what the costs how the costs keep rising year after year after year, and how many times in ways that it's not just Tacoma, how many times that we go when we plead essentially with our legislators to say, please understand there are costs that are out of our control in the ways that in our personal lives, right? The costs of things are out of our control, but we still are bearing that brunt. And it is so deflating to just keep hitting that wall. And no matter the ways that the superintendent, and we guide and direct the superintendent, no matter how many ways the efficiencies that are being made and budget cuts are being made, it's not enough to make up for the costs of things. And it's impacting lives. The other thing that I just want to surface is the federal implication. We do not know the full effects of what the federal implications are going to be. The Department of Justice and the Civil Rights Department of the Department of Education have become weaponized towards punishing the values that we have in our district. They are suing the OSPI over diversity, inclusion, and equity. they are coming for public education. And I guess that is so monumental, and we don't know the full extent of where that's gonna lead, but everything trends towards worse. And I know that my colleagues and I don't sit up here with any sort of relief to hear these reports, to hear public comment. We've been in this difficult spot for quite a while. And I guess I just wanted to talk about the broader implications as well, and challenges, and, I don't know. I know for myself, I don't ever not think about the challenges that we're facing and dealing with. Some are manufactured, some are byproducts, but we know that people are behind all of this. And I just wanted to, I don't know. We're up against a lot of multiple layered challenges. So, thank you, President.
If we just looked at rising costs compared to investments, just to give you contextualization, in K-12 in the state of Washington, in 2015-17, the state invested 47.5% of its budget in K-12. That was pre-McCleary. In 2017-2019 budget, they invested 50.3%. That was the McCleary decision years. In 2019 to 21, they invested 52%. That was right after McCleary, right? That was the high point. In 2021 through 2023, 47.8%. So you think about costs continue to rise. So if you just maintained, you'd still get the same kind of benefit or budget for percentage for the costs. In 23-25, it dropped down to 43.4%. This year, the final numbers came in at 43.2% of the state budget. The paramount duty is down to 43.2%. The investment is not there.
Yeah, and I'd just like to also say that, and you alluded to it, but just to say it out loud, is that even though the money is diminishing in terms of what we're getting and the costs are going up, we still have the duty, the responsibility, the legal responsibility as well as the moral responsibility to provide the services for our students, and there's unfunded mandates that just amount and pile on top of each other, where we're required by the feds or the state to perform services that they don't, they pay us 65% of the cost of doing that. So these are parts of it's not bad management on the part of the school district, it's we cannot keep up. And we're a progressive school district in the sense of innovation and trying to make sure each of our kids gets to go on a field trip. And I mean, we have a lot of things that this district that other districts don't have, and those wonderful things that we are doing in this district are gonna start whittling away because there's no money.
Nothing else from the board? Superintendent, thanks, Ross.
Thank you, Rick.
Agenda item number 13, curriculum and instruction. 13.1, approval of contract number TSD-25-093 between Clover Park School District and Tacoma School District number 10 from September 1, 2024 to August 31st, 2025.
The Deputy Superintendent, on behalf of the Co-Directors of Student Services, recommends that the Board of Directors approve contract number TSD 25093 between Clover Park School District and Tacoma School District number 10 for transitional day school in the amount of $43,109.35 from September 1, 2024 to August 31, 2025, funding source student services.
I move item 13.1.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments around this one? Malik, this doesn't have to be a roll call vote, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? It passes. Agenda item number 14, business matters. 14.1, approval of required action district, RAD, for a 3-year cycle at Edna Travis Elementary School beginning the 2025-2026 school year.
Before I read this recommendation, I'd like to ask Mr. Taj Jensen, our Director of Title I LAP and Student Support Services, to come up and provide an overview of what you'll be voting for tonight.
Good evening. I'm just going to share a brief overview of the RIC-RAD and what it is for approval processes, so you have context behind it. But before I get going, I just want to acknowledge that Principal Gibbs and the Travis team are here in support too. And with that, a big congratulations to Travis Elementary School for being one of 406 public schools for being recognized by the state for closing opportunity gaps for student growth and academic achievement. So as we start this RIC-RAD process of school turnaround or school improvement, they've already begun the journey before we've even begun the process, which is very reassuring as we get moving forward. So I congratulate them on that. Overview, RAD-RIC designation. In 2024, TPS Tacoma Public Schools was designated as a required action district, or RAD, by the State Board of Education due to persistent low performance on the Washington School Improvement Framework, or WSIF. The designation was triggered by Edna Travis's low performance or consistent low performance. It was a Title I school, the lowest, lower than the 5% mark of all other Title I schools. And so that's what triggered the district for the RAD identification. And then this year, what part of that process is they went into the RIC, required introductory cohort. And what that cohort is a year of planning. So the purpose of that is to get school staff, students and families and community partners together to create a data-driven, community-informed improvement plan for full implementation next year. And so that RAD approval is their RAP plan, the required action plan that they worked on this year. A lot of acronyms, right, with the RIC process, required introductory cohort. And so out of that process or planning, they came up with 2 or 3 key priorities that they want to focus on, and those priorities came out of internal audits and external audits. The state provided an external auditor. They took that data, they did their own internal audit, they looked at all the data, they overlaid it, and they came up with 3 key priorities: 1, collaboration; 2, systems development; and 3, accountability. And all those details of what in those key priorities is in the RAD plan. I believe you guys have access to that RAD plan. So the ask tonight is that you guys give formal approval so that we can send it back to OSPI and OSSSI. They've already gave informal approval. They'll turn around and give it to the State Board of Education next week. And then Tacoma is a RAD district. They will begin their RAP plan, which is a 3-year cycle of school turnaround. And as we know, they're already off to a good start. And then by your approval, that implies that the district will support their RAP plan moving into the next steps.
Are we ready for
Okay.
motion?
Any questions
No, we
before I
haven't.
read the recommendation? Comments, questions? Okay, and I will say, for those of you listening at home, the board has had access to this plan over the last couple of weeks, so this is not a first reading. So without further ado, the Deputy Superintendent, on behalf of the Director of Student Programs, recommends that the Board of Directors approve the Required Action District, RAD, for a 3-year cycle at Edna Travis Elementary beginning the 2025-2026 school year.
I move to adopt item 14.1.
My second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, concerns about it?
I want to thank the staff and the community, and especially Principal Gibbs' leadership.
Bravo.
It's a tough process. We also have some outside consultants that work with us, and I want to thank them. They help us work through that. I want to thank Taj. Zeke's been participating on side. Scott Rich has helped. Lisa has helped. Lisa and I mentioned it. Was it yesterday?
Yes, it
what day
was.
We walked into Travis. I think I sent Lisa Gibbs a little video. The feel, the classrooms. It's a magical place. I feel so lucky that our kids are at Travis right now with our amazing staff. There's a lot of work to be done, but I feel very confident that they're on the right track and their intentionality is in a good spot. So thank you, all of you, for the work that you're doing.
Huge thank you.
It's been moved and seconded. No comments from the board. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Agenda item number 14.2, approval of interlocal agreements between 14 school districts and Tacoma School District Number 10 from September 1, 2025 through August 31st, 2026.
The Deputy Superintendent, on behalf of the Director of Innovative Learning and CTE, recommends that the Board of Directors approve interlocal agreements between 14 school districts and Tacoma School District Number 10 for the Tacoma Flex program from September 1, 2025 to August 31, 2026. And before you vote, this is exciting because this means that these 14 districts have access to the Flex opportunity, which expands educational horizons for students not only in our district, but those around us.
I move item 14.2.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. 14.3, approval of interlocal agreement number TSD-25-070 between Washington School Information Processing Cooperative and Tacoma School District Number 10.
Thank you. The Chief Financial Officer recommends that the Board of Directors approve the interlocal agreement number TSD 25070 between WSIPSI and Tacoma School District Number 10 to enhance purchasing power and secure optimal value for supplies and services. This is a cooperative where we get to use somebody who goes out and does a lot more buying than we do and use their lower prices, so we get an economy of scale. This is just a way to help us find better resources at a lower cost.
Move item 14.3.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes. 14.4, approval of contract number TSD-24-013, amendment number 3 between Wayne's Roofing and Tacoma School District Number 10 from January 18th, 2024 through December 31st, 2027.
The Executive Director of Planning and Construction recommends that the Board of Directors approve contract number TSD 24-013, amendment number 3, guaranteed maximum price for Phase 4 of the roofing upgrades and replacement bundle projects at Sheridan, Stanley, Hunt, Hoyt, design only, and the West End Swing School through 60% design for $1,407,573, bringing the total contract cost to $4,392,141, excluding sales tax. Funding source of capital bond issues approved by the voters on February 11th, 2020. I'd like to just so we all are on the same page here. It says Hunt. That's the Hunt Round Building, not Hunt Middle School. We did have a roof that lasts more than 3 years. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear to everyone.
Appreciate it.
I move to adopt item 14.4.
A second?
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Agenda item 14.5, approval of contract number TSD-24-022, amendment number 3 between Corsmo Construction and Tacoma School District Number 10 from February 7th, 2024 through December 31st, 2027.
The Executive Director of Planning and Construction recommends that the Board of Directors approve contract number TSD 24-022, amendment number 3, guaranteed maximum price for the design build construction for Lowell Elementary School replacement project in the amount of $25,956,498. The new total approved amount will be $50,872,493, excluding sales tax, funding source, capital project bonds, as approved by the voters on February 11th, 2020.
I move item 14.5.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. 14.6, approval of contract number TSD-24-134, amendment number 1 between Absher Construction and Tacoma School District Number 10 from August 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2027.
The Executive Director of Planning and Construction recommends that the Board of Directors approve contract number TSD 24-134, amendment number 1, guaranteed maximum price between Abster Construction and Tacoma School District Number 10 for the Energy Conservation Upgrade Bundle Project in the amount of $4,618,781, bringing the total contract value to $38.15, excluding sales tax, funding source, capital projects bond issues approved by the voters on February 11th, 2020.
I move item 14.6.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That too passes. Appreciate it, Morris. Thank you. Agenda item number 15, other business. 15.1, adoption of resolution 2159, Tacoma, one city, from September 1st, 2025 through August 31st, 2035.
Yes, just a little bit of background. And President Strozier, please feel free to jump in here. We've been working together for the last couple of years on this with a number of folks around the city. You know, one of the things that makes Tacoma great is the partnerships and some more support from public agencies and community. Some examples, the city, the parks, TCC, UW. We have examples of MOUs and cross agency initiatives. Some of those examples, Beyond the Bell, you know, Jobs 253, examples like UWT and SOTA being in the same campus, SAMI being in the parks. I can go on and on, Lola May, and this Maritime 253. I mean, we can go on here. We've been working on this concept around unity, right? And the need through JMAC around coming together. And now more than ever, we've just needed to find celebration and moments to come together in unity. And focus in on this idea that we are one city. Our high school kids do this really well. They do this really well. They compete like no other against each other. But when it's time together, they come together as one city in the spirit of this. And we thought it was important that we started to formalize that concept and bring us together in this resolution. And with a commitment that we would work at it for a designated period of time of 10 years. That we would promote it on Fridays through Spirit Days. No one's better at Spirit Days than schools, right? That schools would use their Spirit Days. You know, the Abes could always be the Abes. And, but anybody could celebrate Tacoma Day in One City Day using that. This is a very low cost, no cost option way for Tacoma to show up and show unity. Especially during these tough budget times, this is not something that we're going to be using budget for. You know, our foundation would help in and lean to support some things for us. But this is not a budgetary decision. This is a commitment to supporting the city of Tacoma to come together, not as the agency of City of Tacoma, but the community of City of Tacoma. So that although it is I, the superintendent, and the formal recommendation, I would turn it over to our Mr. President for any additional comments that he would like to make, because he has been a champion and author behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, the idea behind this thing is just the reality of we need each other. And taking care of our babies is not the sole responsibility of us as a school district. Taking care of our parks is not the sole responsibility of the parks. Taking care of the things that our city invests in is not the sole responsibility of the city. The idea is that we all have some sort of ownership in this. So whether it's preventing gun violence, whether it's feeding kids during the summer, we have a responsibility, a collective responsibility. So what better way to show that unity and pride than to lean into this idea of one city? You may have seen it driving past Silas High School and or Mount Tahoma High School, where our young people showed us collectively through tragedy what it looks like to come together. And young people oftentimes are very, very, very great instructors. So if we take the time to pay attention, we might be able to learn a thing or two. So this one city thing is not a magic pill that's gonna fix everything, but it is an opportunity for folks to lean in, take some ownership, and also have some pride in not only their organization, but their city. So the hope is over the next 10 years, we grow this thing, and it becomes recognized as something that changed the narrative, moved the needle. We're going to continue to dig in. We're going to continue to engage with community, with organizations to get folks to buy in, but I think it's going to be something that's really beautiful. So,
And I just add, when you hear it and you see it, pause and remember that we are one community, and that's where we will be stronger, right? Have empathy for each other, have peace. We can agree to disagree, but we can do it with civility. And we can work together to make us a better community. So with that said, the superintendent recommends the board of directors adopt a resolution number 2159 for Tacoma One City from September 1, 2025 through August 31st, 2035.
I move to adopt item 15.1.
I second.
it's been moved and seconded, and it is also a resolution, so we'll do a roll call.
Yes, President Stroger, how do you vote?
Aye, yay, yes. All those.
Oh, Director Keating, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Leon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Bromberg, how do you vote?
Aye.
All right, resolution 2159 passes 4-0.
Thank you. Agenda item number 15.2, second reading and adoption of the proposed 2025 through 2035 strategic plan, priority benchmarks.
So just to remind folks that if you haven't, the board of directors started with their August retreat establishing a goal of setting a new strategic plan and strategic plan benchmarks and metrics. Back in August, you've done extensive work throughout the year, numerous work studies, you've done some surveys, you've had study sessions, and you've gotten to the place where you've already adopted your benchmarks. This is your strategic plan goals. And you have added your first reading, so we are bringing you back some minor revisions, and this is your proposed benchmarks and metrics. So the superintendent recommends the board of directors review and adopt a second reading of the 2025 through 2035 strategic plan priority benchmarks.
I move item 15.2.
Is this a roll call vote?
Yes, we have to get a second.
Second, yeah.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote. We'll go ahead and do it again.
Sure. President Stroger, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Keating, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Leon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Director Bromberg, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, the proposed 2025-2035 strategic plan benchmarks are adopted.
Solid. Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Yeah, well done, team.
Good work. Agenda item number 16, board comments and reports. Anybody want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Last Tuesday of last week, I came for part of the Budget Advisory Committee meeting. There were work groups happening here, and there were 3 topics. One was whole child, one was not just AVID, oh my gosh. I'm forgetting the rest of that. And then also early learning. And so the budget advisory committee members had an opportunity to move from each group to learn about each of those programs and what they mean. And I sat with Director Laura Allen for 1.5 of the rotations and had some really very meaningful conversations with folks. There were very thoughtful questions just around what is whole child? How is it operationalized? What is the history? And so it was really meaningful, and I didn't get an opportunity to go to this Tuesday's meeting, but I hope to make it to next Tuesday's meeting. But I just am really grateful for the people that are investing their time in serving on the Budget Advisory Committee. I think there were maybe 18 folks there when I was there. But it really, as I shared with the folks that I got to talk with, it really helps us up here be able to do our job better. So we're really grateful for the investment of time and care that people are putting into the budget process. And then on Saturday was a little busy for me. I started half of the day at Highline Community College for an NAACP event, Higher Ground, Securing Black Academic Futures. And it was a dynamic group. There were folks, board directors from around the South Sound area, as well as providers, our community providers, and Representative Jamila Taylor was there. It was really great to see her. And the Washington State School Achievement Council gave a really deep presentation on data and metrics and opportunity gaps, and where are the discrepancies in student outcomes, and with a focus on Black students. It was a very informative presentation, and then we had the opportunity to move around in circles and talk with some of the presenters who are doing direct service in our schools in King and Pierce County. I'm going to give a special shout out to Rainier Scholars. They were there, as well as our very own JT Jones Thomas from Evergreen, Tacoma. And then there were two students. They are now college students who shared the work that they do in some of our schools in the South Sound area. But it was a really, there was a lot of really incredible strategies and approaches in centering Black student success, which I was just really grateful to be able to be a part of that and learn from those folks. And then right after that, I went to Mount Tahoma. There was a day-long celebration. Deputy Superintendent Nolan was also there. It was a celebration for Pacific Islander students. And I had determined that I'm going to back up a little. There were essentially talent contests. There were 4 performing groups from between Thurston, Pierce, and King County, but schools representing that entire region. I think even some from Mount Vernon, even as far north as Mount Vernon, so beyond King. But these students performed traditional Samoan performances and songs and sang, and there was live music to each of these troops. There were 4 troops. And what was super cool is one of the troops had a combination of Mount T, Lincoln, Clover Park, and I think, I'm forgetting the other, Lakes High School, I think. So I had Principal McCullen on one side of me, and then the superintendent, Ron Banner from Clover Park, on the other side of me, and we just got to celebrate the achievements of these students and just culturally what they're learning and how they are sharing their culture and expression. So I think I said to Deputy Superintendent, I'm like, I don't know how you could be sad and watch these kids perform. The other thing that was so special about it is there was an opportunity at the end of each troop. They called out their seniors that were in their troop, and then the community and family got to come and shower them. So it was similar to many graduation ceremonies. So it just sort of kicked in my excitement for graduation season, which is right on our heels. It was a beautiful, beautiful event, and I know the wonderful Lua Pritchard and her team at APCC was behind it, along with a lot of other community partners, communities and schools. Vince from Mount Tahoma was the MC, and always entertaining and hilarious. It was just a very beautiful experience, and it was super fun to see. There were at least 4 students from Mount T that I have watched them perform for the last 4 years. So seeing kind of their culmination, because it was their last performance as seniors. So it was a really, really special event. And the troupe that was from Utopia, Washington, which is a nonprofit in Kent, they had the most amazing live musicians and singers. It was really beautiful. So that was very special. And then on Monday, I was back at Mount Tahoma, and I met with the GSA and the students there. they're in the process of doing a fundraiser for GSA, and they're linking it to the plant sale that's happening in Mount T on on Saturday. And they were making flowers that they were selling. And I got to spend some good time with the advisor as well, and just like some of the ongoing challenges that trans and non-binary students specifically are still facing culturally from their peers, or not culturally, but excuse me, from their peers. Which is some of the work I was doing there a couple years ago throughout a school year to just support students and staff on treating each other with dignity and humanity and respect. And then I spent some time at SAMI on Monday as well. And then before coming here, I did unfortunately miss the Lincoln plant sale. It was very sad to miss it. But I did hit up the Silas plant sale that is going on, started yesterday, it's going through Saturday. So if you have the opportunity, please go by and support Silas's plant sale and Mount Tahoma's plant sale. That will be, Mount T's plant sale is just for one day on Saturday, but I need to match my investment that I made at Silas and Mount T. So that might hurt a little bit by Saturday, but it was really cool. The students, just seeing the students working in the greenhouse and supporting the event was always really great. And then of course to see community members and staff there to support them was a very joyful experience. Done.
Thank you.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, well, I'm going to continue the thread of joy that Director Keating has amply started, so this is great, thanks. For those of you out in the public who may not know, we have a school that's not particularly well known, but it's based in criminal justice system, the Juvie Justice Hall. It's called Raymond Hall. And we run a school inside that. And it's not all of our students. It's any young person under 18 who has been incarcerated. Once they enter Raymond Hall, they become a Tacoma Public School student. And so we help them in any way we can. But one of our own who was from this, who had been, going through the system in Tacoma Public Schools, and unfortunately ended up in Raymond Hall, but worked really hard for the past several years to get his high school diploma before he turned 18 and left Raymond Hall. And this is the third or fourth of these I've had the opportunity to do this year, and it is so joyful to watch these young, in this case they've all been young men, but these young men that have made a mistake, done something really stupid, and had heavy consequences, and yet they haven't given up. And I want to shout out one more time to the folks, that all of our teaching staff over there at Raymond Hall, and all of the county Juvie Justice team over there. Everyone is really dedicated to helping these youth find a pathway forward when their life has been upended, and in many cases, families are destroyed by their actions, and also, their own families by the depression of all of that. But these ceremonies are so powerful, and this one was especially neat for me because I actually have met this young man several times when I've gone to visit Raymond Hall, and just to see the growth and the commitment, and he stuck with it, and giving that diploma, he was beaming, and he has high hopes for doing something with his life, with education, and giving back to the community and helping other youngsters not end up where he did. And so I just want to say that was really wonderful. So thanks for that. And then on Wednesday, just this week, I did the Bike to School event at Grant Elementary, or Grant Center for the Expressive Arts. And that was a hoot. I mean, we met up at UPS, and my bike had flat tires, so I had to go on foot and was thinking, these are elementary school kids. It's going to be and I was told by Christina Walker, oh, we're going to go really slow. Let me just say, I haven't run in years, and I was running to keep up with these kids. But we started at the beginning, and it was really super. And I ended up getting into a conversation before we started with 2 kindergartners. I've never met more articulate kindergartners in my life. And it was a young boy and a young girl. And they were talking to each other, and I just introduced myself, and we started chatting. And they met the first day of kindergarten. And now they're best friends. And they told me all the wonderful things that go on at Grant. And I mean, I was almost sorry that everybody got on their bikes and went, and I'm like huffing it, but got down to the end. And then at the end, waiting for the gate to open, all the kids were coming to school, and we were giving out treats and just saying, way to go. Kids were scootering in, they were biking in, they were walking in. And there's such joy when you see kids in the morning getting to see their friends and get into school, and the sun was out, and it was a beautiful day. So I just want to thank the folks at Grant for inviting me to join in that experience. And I know there are more coming up, so anyway, so that's mine.
This past couple weeks, I attended Clover Park College had a Pierce County Health Department Violence Prevention Conference Summit. So the health department put it on, and there were lots of participants that were there talking about preventing violence. A big part of that was gun violence, but also there was a lot of discussion around root causes of violence. So, things like poverty, mental health, substance abuse, and the things that can come out of that it can be violent effects on our community. So it was really wonderful to see a group of thoughtful people and leaders from the whole region coming together with some good conversation, good ideas. I'll highlight one of the professors from UW-T was one of the speakers, Dr. Kelly, Matt Kelly, is partnering with some of our students, in addition to some other school districts. He's got, just briefly, about 10,000 students that he's had participate in this study across all of Pierce County to give fascinating way to do this. Basically, they ask the kids questions around what areas of town do you feel safe in, what areas do you feel not safe in, are there problems getting from certain areas to other areas, from your not safe area to your safe area, and what are those problems specifically? And they draw things on maps, and then this program he has then deciphers where the kids' perceived safe areas are and where they want to go to hang out, and where they do go to hang out, and what their barriers are. They calls them friction. He's working with some of our folks at Tacoma Schools to figure these out, and some of the tangible things you get out of this are, just for example, certain parks. There's a list of parks that the kids want to go to, but they don't perceive as safe. So those are the ones that the parks will be helping to make safer with lights or access or more supervision or cameras potentially. Same thing for transportation with bus lines and maybe a bridge across the river or the creek, at First Creek, to help an area. So there's hope, there's research, kids are helping do this, professors in the area, students at UW-T, and it was wonderful to see a group of people working like that. It also gave me a bit of extra pride that my daughter's working on her Master's in Public Health, and she was one of the participants there working on that through University of Washington. I also attended Tacoma Community House's luncheon this past week. Also just an inspiring event to see 115 years of history that Tacoma Community House has had to help immigrants. In 115 years, we've had, you can just imagine all the types of immigrants that have come to this region and needed help. And now you know the type of people that need help now, and the forces at work to prevent and help those people from getting support. And those people are our families, are our students, are our staff. So I just want to thank Tacoma Community House for doing that great work. And then I also got to attend a few sporting events, soccer and lacrosse at Stadium. Got to see senior nights for both of those, and a lot of fun, a lot of kids just enjoying community with each other, support from the whole school environment around that, and seeing the seniors get to go off with a bang. There's some playoffs involved for Stadium, and I'm sure, as you've heard, a lot of other teams have playoffs that they're going to. So go support your schools.
Solid. I'll go ahead and bring us home. This is, I think last year at the meeting around this time, I might have said the same thing. It's my favorite time of year. We're getting ready to prepare for the transitions out of school for our seniors. And this starts the reminder series. The reality is we almost there, but we ain't there yet. So we've got some work to do. I just want to remind our young people that are on their way out to do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do. This is a fun time. It's going to be easy to get distracted, but you got to stay locked in and make sure that your checks and balances make sense. Might be too soon to say that. Anyway, yeah, we're looking forward to celebrating you all in June, but I want to make sure you all get there. So make sure you make really good decisions as you navigate these last few weeks of school. And with that, I will move us to agenda item number 17, unless there's anybody at the table or in the back that has any comments. Okay.
We don't want to open it up to the back.
I meant the back. Yeah. Oh, yep. Look, there you go. Agenda item number 17, announcement of next regular board meetings, May 22nd, 6 p.m. business meeting. We'll have an executive session following immediately after that. June 12th, 6 p.m. business meeting. June 26th, 6 p.m. business meeting. Agenda item number 18 is adjournment. We're out of here. Thanks.